So, well, obviously, Indonesia.
Mm.
I myself have plans to go to Indonesia. I'm not gonna, because what I did was before COVID started,
Yeah.
I went. Oh no! During COVID, I went. Okay, I'm gonna write up all these things that I'm gonna travel once COVID's done. So
Yeah.
I'd love to go through Indonesian stuff. With Indonesia, I feel like because I have such a completionist mindset, I want to be able to eventually hit all those major islands of Indonesia. Were you
Yeah.
able to do that?
Yeah.
I don't remember all the names, like Sumatra,
Yeah. I've been to
Java.
Yeah, I've been to Bali, Java, Sumatra, Kalimantan, and Sulawesi. And also, I went to Lombok, and I forget the name. It's the islands in the east that are the harder to get to. Like there's West Papua. I haven't been there. There's like Flores Islands, which are beautiful, but I haven't made it there yet.
Do you plan to, or you're kind of with Indonesia? It's not but it's like you've not seen it all, but like you're satisfied, you're quenched. Your thirst for Indonesia has been quenched.
No, it's more like if I ever went back to Indonesia, I'd want to go there for 3 or 6 months, and
Okay,
that's probably not.
I
gonna
get
happen.
you. I'm with
Yeah.
you. Same
Yeah.
thing with Vietnam, because I'm like, I feel like I've seen most of Vietnam, right? All of it. Satisfied myself.
Yeah.
There are little pockets that I haven't seen. That's all good, no dramas. So where I'm at is like, if I go back to Vietnam now and I don't go to other countries, I'm I'm not seeing these other countries.
Yeah.
So that'd be a waste.
Yeah.
So how do I justify going back to Vietnam for when I still want to, obviously, it would be to go for like 3 or 6 months.
Exactly.
Make that experience, it's much more transformative. It's we're playing with a different level here. Because when you land in a place and you go, I've got 1 month, let's itinerary this. When you land in a place with 3 months,
Yeah.
6 months, it's a different playing field.
It
You
is,
could even
it
go,
is.
hey, no itinerary. Let
Exactly.
life take me. I'm just
Just
going to...
Go off your feeling and
Immerse-
follow it.
That's why you travel alone. You know why? Because when you travel alone, you're not traveling, you're living. You are... I love that. you watch any anime or anything like that? No, anime. Like, when I'm in Vietnam, I feel like it's like... Well, not in Vietnam, just like those Asian countries, like the pirate life or whatever. Like I can kind of walk around, kind of, I mean, I'm not much of a drinker, but me and my friend had this thing where we're like, if we ever go to Thailand and Vietnam together, I'm gonna get you like that gourd, because he likes drinking. We're gonna fill it up with beer, and you can just keep walking around with a gourd, because this is the life we live. We can't do this in Australia.
That's true.
We walk around with a gourd.
You probably could.
You
but
could,
it wouldn't
but
feel so exotic.
I'm trying to be like really exaggerated with this. I want like the gourd. He's gonna strap on his back.
Yeah.
Like that's how big the gourd's gonna be.
Yeah.
So Indonesia eventually wrapped up, and well, it's easy to go. Which country did you hit up next? But more so, what did you do next? You went back home.
Yeah, I went back home. And like I said earlier about kind of realizing who I wasn't back home, it really really kind of messed me up when I got home.
It broke you.
Yeah.
Bit of an
pretty
ego
much.
death.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I kind of paint this picture?
Yeah.
You're in Australia. You don't know who you are. You go to Indonesia. You find yourself a little bit in Indonesia. You kind of establish who you are.
Yeah.
So before you leave in Indonesia, before you hop on that flight to head back, you're like, you're satisfied. You're done. Like you didn't. You want to be kicking. You were like, I'm good to go home. I'm a bit homesick. Good. You get home.
Yeah.
You land. Flight. Hey, mum, dad. Hello.
Yeah.
Home. Everything's good. First few days, you see your friends and stuff like that. Friends you haven't seen in ages. When does it set in? When does the break happen? When the crack happens?
I don't know. Maybe. Well, even on the first day back, like just realizing that people weren't so friendly, and you can walk past people in the city and no one looks at you. But on a deeper level, yeah,
Oh my God,
probably
my boy
probably
had
1
heartbreak. Your heart was broken.
yeah. 1 week, because for me, it was such a transformative experience, and I came back and so much for me had changed, and then for everybody else, nothing at all had changed. And because I hadn't experienced that with anybody else, no one really cares about what you've done. They get kind of sick of it, which is fair
and you're
enough.
just there because I get that.
Yeah.
I mean, just this is I love it. Whenever
Yeah.
you and I link on things that we understand together, like yeah, you go and you travel, amongst my own Vietnamese like community as well. I've got
Yeah.
friends who are Vietnamese here, but they've never been back like I have.
Yeah.
So I come back and I'm trying to tell them, and they don't connect with that, which I understand.
Exactly.
Not to put pressure, but it's like, oh come on, man! Like I went to a country where they do everything different to us. All right, I
Yeah.
can tell you so much. I can tell
know.
you so many things. And like that doesn't fascinate you at all? Like what?
No.
That's crazy. I don't get that. Like I'd be pretty downtrodden too.
Yeah.
Why didn't you try to find like your people and thing? Once you were here, you should have been finding like, well, you're Indonesians. Make some Indonesian friends, stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I did find those people eventually, but I mean, I
During
grew
that
up.
part of time, you
Yeah.
were saying you grew up.
Like on the rural fringe of Melbourne, so not exactly in the country, but like, very, very white, very conservative. There was one
White and
Asian
conservative.
kid at my high school of like 500 kids. So not a very diverse place to be. Yeah, and I think I wasn't very open with people at the time, and it just, I don't know, it's just got to me and made me feel worse about myself than before I left. And I ended up, at that time, I had a lot of friends who were like DJs and stuff playing in the city.
Yeah.
And I'd always been like experimental with drugs and stuff before that. But this time, I got into party drugs and then ended up getting into ice. Because, I don't know. I
He's
think
Australian, mate. Oh no,
exactly.
Coffs Harbour.
Yeah.
Oh, ice cap.
Exactly. Nah. Yeah, I think that maybe gave me like the rush that kind of fulfilled
You
the
were missing.
void that I had. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, it's that word, rush.
yeah.
Like, it's such a quick word that we toss away, but it's like I
Yeah.
get that not when you're on something, but when you are traveling. That
Yeah.
hype, because you found it again when you went traveling again. When you started traveling again, we'll talk about that when we had more time. But my point being, you felt like you were back there, right?
Yeah.
Back in that different country, but back in my traveling mood.
Yeah.
So I understand that kind of transition. Obviously, the rush that you felt isn't the same that you feel when you're traveling, but it's like it's something as opposed to nothing.
Yeah, and I think like because you've told me you have ADHD, and I also have ADHD.
Oh, great!
And yeah, good job. And I don't know about
Who's
you.
your doctor? Who prescribed this? Fuck, DJ Ricka.
For me, like, it was, when I think about it now, when you're younger, you're always looking for a rush and something that takes your attention, and you go for that because you have like you need this kind of short-term fix. And for me, like, I never really thought about the bigger picture, and that's why I built up nothing with my life at that time. And
At the time, as in before you were traveling or after you traveled?
before and after.
Oh, true. Because
Yeah.
after you came back to look, I haven't built anything. I left. I built something for myself and find myself. I'm gonna come back,
Yeah.
but now I know who I am and I don't feel like I fit in.
Yeah. And so it took me getting into ice and then like hitting rock bottom with that to start thinking about the bigger picture, and I guess how it could shape my life to have more long-term, I don't know, aspirations and achievements.
Walk me
etc.
through that whole ice thing if you don't mind. And I'm not trying to ask for the specifics of the day, but it's more like you're back a week in, you don't feel great. You get into clubbing, things like that, because DJ scene, you know how it is.
Yeah.
I don't know how you end up with ice, bro. Most people just hit a bit of coke and that's it,
Yeah.
They buzz out and they and they sleep and they wake up, oh, I'm kind of fresh and I hangover. But damn,
Yeah.
that's so. I asked this question because I grew up different from your kind of landscape. We both grew up in Australia, a different landscape. So that's so alien of a thing to me, at least at my age, or the age of which when you hopped into it, I couldn't even comprehend that. And then to hear that, I wouldn't even know where and when. You know what I mean? Like there's a level of accessibility that I feel like. Well, I don't feel like you stepped out to look for it. I feel like it was put in front of you quite easily, and then it became.
Yeah. I can't remember how it started. Well, actually, I had done it when I was 18, just a little bit.
Yep.
So I guess I was already familiar with it, but I don't know. You just know people that have it, and you somehow just get
Sort
into
it
these situations. And
Because before you were like, you came back, you experimented with stuff. There was, you obviously had like, because you said you experimented with party drugs and stuff before, right? So I suppose it was a bit of something familiar as well.
yeah,
Because it wasn't like you'd done nothing, you went to Indonesia, came back, and boom, I'm on. It was
Yeah.
like doing things, go to
Yeah.
Indonesia, come back, and at least this is familiar.
yeah.
Did you feel like you were trying to fit in?
Well, yeah, that's what I was just
With the
thinking
group?
actually, because when you do stuff like ice,
Yeah.
it's
Real communal.
real communal because like you're in a group of people, and then there's people that, how do you say, let's call them surface level people that go out and they do, you know, a few pills or whatever, and that's that.
Yeah.
But then this is what you tell yourself at the time. Then there's the real people,
Yeah.
and they're the ones that do,
Who are
you know,
dedicated to it, who are committed, and that's why they find belonging within each other.
yeah,
Like, you get me. Like,
yeah.
oh, don't worry about him. He's just trying to have a good time for the weekend, but you get me. You're
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. And in hindsight, that's kind of delusional, and all those people aren't really there to be your friend. They're just a group of people that are lost
In the same
together.
issue that you're of. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
like all lost sheeps trying to find a place together, almost.
But at
All
the
lost sheep
time,
being
it
lost together.
feels genuine.
Must
yeah.
have felt, yeah,
You
must have
feel
felt
like
really.
you're part of something.
I mean, I can imagine that rock bottom that you were at. Because I'm trying to piece together just the whole. It was like a bomb that was ready to tick that hadn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like the issue was before you were traveling. The traveling was like, oh, this is going in a good direction,
Yeah.
but it almost felt like we needed to do more with this. It wasn't just enough that we had a bit of the medicine.
Yeah.
We needed to take the medicine and start exercising on it too.
Yeah.
And that's why I felt like when you came back, you had these foundations and things weren't linking up. You're like, oh, fuck, that would have been
Yeah.
destructive, man.
Yeah, it was gnarly.
That'd have been
Yeah.
wild.
Especially having the knowledge of what could be,
Yeah.
like of the real wholesome experiences that I had versus the, you know, detrimental things that I
And
was
it could
doing
be,
to
and
myself.
it's like you could fall into either one or and you don't get that other one. That other one becomes a what if that never happened.
Exactly, yeah.
So, up on the ice, and to be real specific, talk about it. Is that an injection thing or a burn in the spoon thing? I'm
You
not smart.
smoke it out of a crack pipe.
Okay, it was a
Yeah,
pipe. Mhm.
so it's like like a little glass bowl and a funnel. Just
Yeah.
buy it from the sex shop. Yeah, and that's what one of the most hypnotizing parts of it is watching the smoke curl in the bowl. It's like a fucking trance.
Yeah, because
Like-
you're off your head of everything's a trance.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask, like, the experience, like, what? Can you give me the timeline? So you're there, you light it, you look at the smoke, you're mesmerized by it. Goes in, it feels good.
Amazing.
You
Yeah.
feel great, whatever the level of euphoria is. That
It's like if you've been like, have you free fall before? Like when your chest goes to your heart, kind of thing.
is that like in a plane when a plane drops? Kind of
Yeah,
thing?
yeah.
It's like that.
It's like that.
Mm.
You get like you
Thrill,
inhale,
rush.
and then as you inhale, you get that rush,
Mm.
and then you just feel incredible. Like
Mm. How long is
It's-
this going for?
I mean that rush is kind of small, that like really intense feeling,
Mm.
but then it stays with you for a very long time, and I mean you can,
As in how long?
can't remember now, but I mean
Well, my timeline, I mean, like, is it like fucking 6 hours, 5 hours, or is like over a few days you kind of feel kind of
a few hours,
Yeah, a few hours,
like
yeah.
maybe 4 hours or so, and you
Mhm.
kind of keep hitting it, keep going.
yep to keep having that
Yeah.
free fall. So it's like free fall,
Mm.
and then whatever that feeling after a free fall is, you're existing in that,
Mm.
and of course you'll come back to it, hit a bit of
Mm.
free fall, and just okay,
Yeah.
go through a few hours and stuff. And what happens next? Like, do we end up finished or?
Well, you keep on pursuing that feeling for as long as you can, which for me was like I'd go out Thursday night,
Yep.
and then I'd come back Sunday evening,
Mhm.
and I wouldn't have slept the whole time.
Oh,
And that
and then you
was-
take like however long you need to recover from that.
Well, I went to work the next day, so I was like kind of functioning.
Yeah, this breaks
an
up that
extent.
that's but
Yeah.
like this is my thing when things like work out, like, you know, you're able to do all that for a week. Let's not talk about the ice. Let's talk about staying up for a week
Yeah.
and then being able to go to work, which is great and all. But for my logic being that has to pay, the payload has to happen somewhere. You know, you're gonna
Oh,
have to
yeah.
pay for it somewhere. obviously my translation is an all-nighter. I stay up too late tomorrow. I go to work. I'm tired. That's my
Yeah.
pay. That's my payload. What was your payload going to work? You were functional. You were working, but
I was very angry, so angry.
quick to anger.
Mm.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, it must have been a fucking crap feeling to be trapped within you after all that.
Yeah, but I didn't realize it. I thought I was normal.
Oh, you felt
Because the thing is, like, when it gets to a point with that drug, you're fucking delusional.
yeah.
You're crazy. You know, I had thoughts about, like, harming members of my family
Yeah.
because they were concerned about me.
Yeah.
But
And
in
it
my
didn't
head, they were
translate.
fighting against me.
And, that's fucked.
Yeah.
It's like you. It feels like ice feels like a bit of a trap, doesn't it, brother? Because
Yeah.
it's like, I understand. I'm not gonna be ever quick to point out anything to do with like addiction stuff. That people have problems. Like this isn't the way people are going about it. Ain't great. And you know, there's so much evil attributed to ice, and then because there's so much evil attributed, we go, oh, boom, ice users. No, ice users are your victims.
Yeah, they are.
So, because this man, he's sad. He's hopped on this thing,
Yeah.
and then it's made him feel better. Good, it's satisfied that, and then it's trapped him. He's stuck in his mind where he thinks. Cause I can't even fathom like that feeling. Like these people who care about you are translating, are trying to get this message of like, dude, we love you, we care about you, we need this off, and in your head just goes through a filter of this, like, you don't like me, you're giving me a hard time.
Yeah, well, the way I got out of it was kind of by encountering one of these situations where I was luckily able to see myself objectively afterwards, I guess. Like, I was on it for like a year, and I was a drug dealer as well.
Yeah.
To pay to do it.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. And
This is all a parody. This is a storytelling.
yeah. Fiction.
Fiction.
And yeah, I had 3 experiences which kind of turned me around. The first was when one of my friends, I'd been telling him that I was not happy with myself and wanted to stop doing ice.
Wow.
And
You get
he
to
was
the
a good
point of
friend.
wanting to stop, but you're still doing it.
Yeah.
I want to stop. I'm still doing it.
Yeah. And we went to kick on somewhere, and there was somebody there selling ice, and you know, obviously I went to buy it. It was the first thing I did. And my friend was like, dude, stop. What are you doing? You just told me you don't want to do this. Yeah. And I got angry. Like, it escalated.
What did you say?
Oh, I can't just...
Because it must have been hella unreasonable. You know what I mean? Like, it's the most unreasonable shit you would have said.
Actually,
that's why I asked, because it's so hard to like face that in that moment.
Yeah.
A lot easier. You're like, yeah, of course I was unreasonable. I was fucked on ice.
I was enrolled in TAFE at the time, actually, and I told him that I needed to buy it so that I could go home and study.
Because
So,
you're making
very,
this
very
excuse.
reasonable.
And he had to like, oh yeah, man, I understand. Like,
but no, he tried to stop me, and I punched him, which is fucked. Like,
Yeah.
he's looking out.
that's
for
why
me.
you're Buddhist today, man. You don't punch people no more.
Yeah, and so that was crazy. And then the next thing that happened was
You guys still mates or that?
yeah.
Oh, because you came back from it, eh? From whatever that experience. Thank God.
Yeah,
Thank
real
God.
good mates. Yeah, the other thing that happened was allegedly I'd pick up drugs every week from some guy.
Yeah, back in
And
1945.
Yeah, and one week he asked me after I picked it up, he's like, "Can you take this package for me from here to there, and I'll give you $2,000." And I was like, I'd love to, but I had like a date or something that night, so I couldn't. Next week, one of my good mates, who was also allegedly buying drugs of the same guy, got in the same situation and took the package from A to B.
Yep.
Got to point B.
So
got
did the thing
robbed.
that you didn't do.
Yeah, and he got robbed
Yep.
by the people at point B and there was $50,000.
And point B
in that
was working
package.
with point A or not?
I don't know.
You never know.
You never know.
Because point A is pissed.
Yeah.
Point A wants to break your legs.
Exactly.
Point A is like, what the fuck? But turns out point A hopped the phone.
Yeah.
Hey, we got him good. We just doubled this.
I never got to find out because that friend, he just disappeared. Like, I mean, he's okay, but he ran away because he...
I mean, have you seen him since or?
I've heard of him like 2 years ago.
And in solace, you just want to hope like, oh, hopefully he's well, hopefully it's good. But it's like,
Yeah.
But
he definitely removed himself from that life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It woke him up, huh?
Yeah. And then...
Because he doesn't do anymore. I don't
think so. I'm not sure. I don't really know him.
Yeah. Well, because he
But-
literally like pulled off like that.
Yeah.